Hey folks, welcome to our virtual winemaking party. And what I'm going to be making here for 2016 is Dragon's Blood and Dragons in Paradise, which is a tropical style Dragon's Blood type wine. And we got people from all over the world that are joining us in making this. Everybody's making it at the same time. So, you know, if you want to get into one of the groups that I'm in on Facebook or whatever, you too can get in and join the party and make it alongside of us. We're all going to be posting our results, but I am hosting this party, and it's in a couple of winemaking groups. A home winemaking group that my friend Daniel runs is the main one that I check in with. So here we go. I'm gonna get started. What I got is my buckets that are cleaned and sanitized, and I have a couple of coolers over there that have my bags of fruit in it, some sugar, some pineapple juice, some lemon juice. I'm also going to do some lime juice in one of them, and I have my frozen fruit, and I have a couple of these mesh bags I'm going to be using. Alright, so the first step for me to get this going would be to put the juice in the pails. But before doing that, it's important to make sure that the spigots are turned off. And both of them are turned off. Alright, so the first thing, I'm going to take my tropical, put the pineapple juice in this one. Pineapple. One down. Two down. Alright, for the other one I'm going to be using real lemon. Alright, so this is one 32-ounce bottle. I'm going to be adding a couple of bottles of lime to it this year. Alright, and after that, each one of these is going to get a 10-pound bag of sugar. First one, 10-pound bag. Second one, 10-pound bag. And then I'm going to get my cleaned and sanitized spoon and stir that up. Alright, so I got my spoon, and all I'm going to do is stir. Alright, and I'm going to do the same to the pineapple juice. Then after that, I'm going to fill these up with a bunch of water. Eventually, our final amount is going to be 6 gallons of wine in each one. So, for now, I'm probably just going to fill it up to like the 4-gallon mark. And I can add water after I have the fruit in and see where I'm at, okay? So I'm going to add more water to these, and I'll be right back. Alright, so in this one I have a mesh bag, and I filled it with 4 bags of this organic triple berry blend. And that's going to be for the standard dragon's blood. And after I have that in there, I'm going to tie a knot in the bag. And you want to do that so that it's secure in the bag and the fruit doesn't come out. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing to the other one and I'll be right back. Alright, so for this one I'm doing the tropical. And I'm going to just be pouring these bags in. The tropical is strawberries, mangoes, and pineapple. Nice tight knot. I'm going to give this a little squeeze. I can see with the bag in, it's around at the 6-gallon mark, but that's fiber from the fruit. So I'm going to be adding a little bit more water because I want a finished 6 gallons. So I'm going to top these up a little bit and I'll be right back. Alright, so with both of these here topped up, I'm going to be adding the tannin, yeast energizer, yeast nutrient, and pectic enzyme. You can get the amounts of this on my blog to each one of these. I've pre-measured them out. Whatever you do, do not put the sorbate in yet, because you'll mess yourself up. I'm going to stir that in. And after I stir all that in, I'm going to put the tops on and let it sit for 12 to 24 hours before I add any yeast. Now if you wanted to, you could put in some Camden tablets if you felt you needed it. If you do that, you're going to make sure that you wait 24 hours before you put in your yeast, because the Camden will kill the yeast that you're putting in. Alright, that one's down. The tannin is really clumps up a little bit. Alright. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to be cleaning off the lids and putting the airlocks on, snapping it on, and letting it sit for about 12 to 24 hours on each one of these. Alright, so in 12 to 24 hours we'll come back and we'll be adding the yeast and possibly bentonite, so stay tuned and we'll be back when that time has expired. Alright. Alright folks, it's the next morning, and what I'm going to do first is optional. I'm going to be adding bentonite to this cup of boiling water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this as I'm slowly, gradually putting in the bentonite. Alright, and once that's done, I'm just going to put that aside for a few minutes. Now what I put in here, I'm going to use this for both of these batches. So if you were doing just one batch, you would, probably use about half of that. So I'm going to put that aside and let it sit while I do the next part. Alright, so the next part is this has been sitting in the pectic enzyme and everything else for just about overnight. It's the next morning. So less than 24 hours, more than 12. And what I'm going to do, my hands are very clean. I'm going to come in and I'm just going to squeeze this. If you notice, the wine has already got a red color for the standard regular dragon blood. So I'm going to squeeze that up. Really try to get some of the pectic enzyme and stuff in. Give it a good squeeze. Like that. It's already breaking down with the enzyme because it's very mushy, these fruits in here, which is a good thing. Now what I've noticed with the dragons in paradise is that the mangoes are very fibrousy and they don't want to break down. So when you're doing this, make sure you really try to crunch those mangoes up. And of course you got to make sure your hands are very clean when you're doing this. Everything that touches the wine has to always be clean. Alright, so I'm going to wash my hands again. My next step is I'm going to stir this up. Again, the bentonite is optional. I'm going to pour half of it in this one and half of it in the other one. And then I'm just going to grab the bags and stir that around a little bit like that. Okay. Alright. And folks, you can see I made a little spill. I try to clean that stuff up right away. Alright. And finally, our last step for now. is I got 2 packets of yeast. I'm going to shake it, and what I'm going to do is simply grab this and sprinkle it on top without stirring it. Then I grab my lids, snap them back on, and I'm going to let that sit and look for signs of fermentation. So within like 2 days I should start to see bubbling. After I start to see bubbling, what I'm going to do every day is grab my spoon, sanitize it, clean it, squeeze the heck out of each one of these bags, and stir that up with the spoon in each one. And I'm going to keep doing that until my fermentation is below 1.0 on a specific gravity. So that's it. You know, basically stir, 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 stir. You're going to grab those bags, squeeze them. The Dragon in Paradise, again, the mangoes, very fibrousy, so really try to get a good squeeze in on those and get those going. Make sure you don't break the bag, but you know. And that's it. We're going to keep doing that every single day. And we'll have the next video when we're past that stage and we're down to 1.0 or below with specific gravity. Take a reading of it, you know, a couple days in to make sure that you're going. If for some reason your fermentation does not start, okay, what I would do is I would grab myself a little bit of sugar, put it in a what do you call it, like a cup, or you know, Pyrex measuring cup, about a cup of it. Stir that in with hot water, let it cool down to like, I don't know, roughly 100 degrees, warm water. Sprinkle another packet of yeast on it, the same kind of yeast, and stir that in and let it sit, kind of like making a bread starter, okay? And let it sit, and you can let it sit for a good 45 minutes, and try pouring that on top of the wine if it doesn't start fermenting in a couple of days. And go for it again at that point. That's it. So we're going to keep going, let these ferment, and our next video will be back to the next phase, which would be transferring these wines out of these buckets into a glass carboy. If you don't have a carboy yet, if you're just starting out, you got about a week to go out and get one. Alright? And that's it. You know, welcome to the winemaking party, and I hope that this is helpful. If you have questions, ask them below, and or ask them in some of the forums that, you know, I'm doing this in. And you know, please, if you're doing this with us, along with us with the winemaking party, post pictures of what you're doing, post your questions of what you're doing, along with all the other winemakers in the winemaking event that I created for this. And you know, it should be a good time, fun time for all of us. Thanks for being part of it. And you know, hopefully come New Year's Eve we'll be able to all raise a glass of wine together that we all made together, which is really cool. People from all over the whole world are involved in doing this. All right, take care. Alright everybody, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to my video channel here on YouTube. And definitely check out my blogs, www.cookingitalianrecipes.com with the dashes in the middle. Or my other one on winemaking, howtomakehomemade.biz. Thanks for watching, please subscribe, and have an awesome day.